In this video, I will explain what the parts of speech are and how we identify them in a sentence and understand the role they play in creating meaning. Parts of speech, also known as word classes, are the words we use to make sentences. And so we are already quite familiar with seeing them in sentences, and hopefully you will now be able to accurately label them and understand what each word contributes to the meaning of a sentence. There are 8 main parts of speech that are worth knowing, but for now we are going to focus on 5. Noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb. A noun is a word that names a person, place, or thing. For example, in this sentence, I happily live in a lovely house. The house is the noun because it is the place in which the action of living is taking place. There are actually 3 types of noun. Concrete nouns, such as house in I happily live in a lovely house. This is a noun that is something quite physical, tangible. We can see a house, we can be in a house. It is a place, an object. Proper nouns, such as my house is in Winchester, Winchester being the proper noun. This is where we have a capital letter at the start of the noun because it is the name of a person or a place. And thirdly, abstract nouns, such as my house makes me feel happy. Happy being the abstract noun because it is a state of being. It is not a physical thing, happy, like a house was, but it is something that is still a state that I am in because of how I feel about my house. Secondly, a pronoun is a word that replaces a noun, such as I happily live in a lovely house. The pronoun in this sentence is I, and this replaces a name that I could have used. I could have said Mr. Lenton happily lives in a lovely house. Instead, I say I happily live in a lovely house. Pronouns are very helpful to use so that we're not always using somebody's names and then making something very repetitive in our writing. An adjective is a word that describes a noun, such as in this sentence, I happily live in a lovely house. So the noun was house, and the adjective lovely describes the quality of that house. Verb. A verb is a word that tells us an action, such as in this sentence, I happily live in a lovely house. The word live is the verb, it is the action that is taking place. Now sometimes this will be a very dynamic action like jumping or sprinting, but sometimes the action is more of a sort of state of being. So I am a teacher would still be the verb to be, I am, so I'm not doing anything particularly dynamic in that verb, I'm just being something or having something or living in something. Next, adverb. An adverb is a word that describes how something is being done, such as in this sentence, I happily live in a lovely house. So the verb was live, the adverb then describes that verb. It tells you that I am happily doing that particular action. Here are all 5 parts of speech working together in a few sentences. You can see with the color coding which word class or part of speech is being used and what they are contributing towards the sentence. Let me read out the sentences and see if you can remember how the color coding works and which part of speech is being represented by each color. This paragraph helpfully shows you examples of the 5 different parts of speech. I have highlighted examples of each part of speech so that you can see how they might work together in sentences to create meaning. Let's recap. Can you remember the function of each word type? Noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb. And can you see in sentences how they work together to create meaning and to tell us what somebody is doing and how they feel about something.